According to psychology, people who overthink every little thing are often misunderstood. And if you are one of them, note this: you aren't insecure, not neurotic, not annoying, and definitely not broken. In many cases, your brain simply works at a processing speed that makes normal thinking feel slow, shallow, or dangerously careless. If you spend your nights replaying conversations or predicting every possible future outcome, there are real psychological reasons behind it. First, you possess what psychologists call a biological sentinel intelligence. When you overthink, you aren't just worrying, you are scanning for threats. Research suggests that worry is an evolutionary trait linked to higher intelligence. In ancient times, the people who survived were the ones who anticipated danger before it appeared. They noticed patterns, predicted problems, and prepared solutions. You aren't being paranoid, you are being prepared. Your brain is wired to predict problems before they happen so you can protect yourself and the people you love. While most people walk blindly into difficult situations, you've already simulated the scenario multiple times in your mind. But being a protector doesn't fully explain why you replay awkward social moments from years ago. That comes down to how your brain processes emotion. You run deep emotional simulations to avoid hurting others. People who overthink are rarely selfish. They are usually hyperempathetic. Psychology refers to this as predictive emotional processing. You replay conversations not because you are obsessed with yourself, but because you are analyzing how your words may have affected someone else. You are deeply afraid of being misunderstood or causing unintentional pain. While others speak without thinking, you carefully choose your words. You carry the emotional weight of interactions because you care deeply about outcomes. However, caring this much takes a serious toll on your energy, and this leads to a trait many people mistake for laziness. In reality, you have a depth of processing brain type. You don't just experience life, you analyze it. Psychology links this to the highly sensitive person trait. Your brain doesn't filter out unimportant details. You notice tone changes, microexpressions, and hidden meanings behind simple messages. Research shows that your brain processes information more thoroughly than average. This is why you feel exhausted after a day of doing nothing. You weren't doing nothing. You were processing massive amounts of sensory and emotional data that others ignored. But this depth doesn't just make you tired, it makes you incredibly creative. This is where overthinking turns into a superpower. You have a powerful imagination that needs a target. Overthinking is simply imagination without direction. Research consistently shows a strong link between anxiety and creativity. Your mind is an engine that produces scenarios, connections, and ideas. When you don't give that engine something meaningful to work on, it turns inward and creates problems that don't exist. The same brain area that visualizes worst-case scenarios is responsible for art, strategy, and innovation. You aren't suffering from a mental defect. You are suffering from unused creative potential. Your brain is begging for a complex challenge worthy of its power. Finally, you refuse to settle for mediocrity. Overthinkers are often perfectionists in disguise. You analyze decisions because you want the best possible outcome. You don't want to just get by, you want to do things right. Studies show that while this trait increases stress, it also leads to higher quality work and better long-term decisions. You think deeply because your standards are higher. You are constantly trying to close the gap between reality and your vision of how things should be. So if you overthink everything, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means your mind works differently with more foresight, deeper empathy, higher sensitivity, and a drive for excellence. You have a strategist's brain in a world that rewards impulsiveness. You aren't broken, you're just running a more advanced operating system. If this sounds like you, drop a brain emoji in the comments. And if you want to understand the psychology behind your complex mind, hit subscribe, because the next video might change how you see yourself forever.